Chapter 14. Mrs. Shashikala Datar, my mother, I, the one who taught me humanity. God could not be everywhere, and so he made mothers. By Rudyard Kipling. My entire life has been occupied with one word, mother, I. I feel that every particle of my body is filled with her. I will always be grateful to her for shaping my personality and making me a sensitive human being. My bonding and emotional attachment with my mother was so strong and passionate that I took the first breath of my life on her lap, and she left this world taking her last breath on my lap. She was my first teacher who inculcated faith, patience, honesty, and perseverance in me, with which I am traveling on my life journey. In fact, she herself was a manifestation of these values. She was like the spring of humanity. My mother Shashikala, at the time of her marriage, was 16. She was too young to play the role of a housewife. Being the youngest child in her family, she had been pampered by her parents and two elder sisters named Suman and Kumud. The elders affectionately kept her away from any hard-working household activity and allowed her to play with schoolmates throughout her adolescence. That is why, unlike other girls, she couldn't attain proficiency in cooking even at the age of 16. Unfortunately, I had to listen to taunts and rebukes from her mother-in-law for this imperfection. My parents' marriage was an arranged one. My father had just joined the Indian Air Force then, and according to tradition, his family immediately began searching for a suitable bride for him. Someone suggested my mother's name, and the Datar family, satisfied when the horoscopes matched, approved of her ceremoniously. Since both the Datars and Kuralkars were middle-class families, the wedding took place with simplicity. Within a week after marriage, Baba left home to resume his duty. Thus, I started off her marital life with loneliness. Her relations with her mother-in-law unexpectedly turned sour. When my grandmother came to know that her newlywed daughter-in-law was not proficient in housework, she became upset and started taunting and humiliating my mother. Since my grandmother's nature was fiery, I preferred to remain tight-lipped. She neither complained about her mental abuse to her parents nor to her husband. She spent 2 years patiently in this unpleasant atmosphere. Another strange reason for her suffering was that she hadn't managed to conceive for 2 years after marriage. In those days, it was generally expected from a newlywed couple to have their first child in the very first year of the marriage. But my grandmother seemed to be a little impatient. When I didn't manage to conceive early, she began questioning her fertility. I was under so much mental pressure that she prayed to our family deity. She vowed to perform rituals if she became pregnant. Perhaps the goddess might have heard her prayer. At last, she conceived. She kept her word, and even in the last month of her pregnancy, she climbed a nearby mountain with determination to reach the temple of the goddess and perform the rituals. Soon, she delivered a baby boy. That is me. My grandpa was not happy with the treatment his wife was giving to her daughter-in-law. He might have given some advice to Baba. Baba was then temporarily transferred to the Patiala Air Base. He took my mother and me with him and came to Patiala. At last, my eye got some relief from the abuse and a smile returned to her face. She spent the next 2 years happily in Patiala. While there, they had another little baby. He was named Sanjay, my younger brother. Patiala has always been known as a prosperous city famous for its quality food and nutritious milk products. Sanjay and I became healthy babies in the climate of Patiala. When Baba again got posted in Mumbai, I was determined to learn the art of cooking. My elder aunt Vimal, who was settled in the same city, had excellent culinary skills. She happily agreed to teach I. I learned not only tasty cooking, but also the art of good housekeeping from my aunt. She attained so much proficiency in cooking that even simple dishes made by her with few ingredients would turn out to be amazingly delicious. She inculcated good discipline in us, like always respecting the food and never wasting any of it. I remember an incident. When I started running our company, I was once invited to discuss some business alliance. The client was a wealthy businessman. Our meeting was set in a luxurious hotel. The person preferred to meet over lunch. He ordered a large variety of expensive dishes, drinks, and desserts, including various delicacies of eggs, chicken, mutton, seafood, accompanied by wines and ice creams. I thought it unnecessary to order so much food for only 2 people. I couldn't express my disapproval as I was a guest and moreover a small trader. What really hurt was that my host tasted only a few bites and the leftovers were thrown out. The incident reminded me of a touching memory. Baba had been working for a Dubai company. When the project was finished, he was discharged. He searched for a new job and another company employed him. Before joining, he came to Mumbai to visit. Unexpectedly, his company didn't grant him a visa in time and he had to spend the next 6 months in unemployment. The situation in our home soon became grim. All his savings were spent on daily expenditures. Finally, a pathetic moment came when there was no grain in our cellar and no money in our pocket. But my parents remained resilient. They had encountered such challenges in the past. I had the habit of storing some grains and pulses for any adversity. That day she managed to draw a fistful of rice from her grain bank and cooked simple but delicious dal rice for us. She made us pray before taking the first bite and said, "Boys, life teaches us in many ways. Only a hungry person understands the value of bread. We should always thank the Almighty and respect our food whether in adversity or prosperity. Remember, never waste a single grain as it is enough to feed an ant." I have never forgotten her words. Even today, our family and company follow the strict rule of never wasting food. I taught me self-respect. In my school days, I was once invited to attend a banquet. Just before the meal was served, an elderly person came to me and arrogantly asked me to vacate the seat. He said that the first batch of the banquet was exclusively reserved for prestigious guests and I should better wait for the second batch. I couldn't tolerate the insult and returned home disappointed. With tears in my eyes, I told the entire story to my mother. She convinced me, "Son, in today's world, respect is given only to the prestige of a person. People often get impressed with the gleam of wealth and therefore try to show off luxury. If you want the same respect from others in the future, work hard and acquire prosperity." I never forgot the valuable words of I. Later, when I became a successful entrepreneur, the same person who had once insulted me began requesting my appointment for some personal work. His cunning behavior and acting amused me. I called I and said, "I, you spoke the truth. In today's world, respect is given only to the prestige of a person." I have learned the skill of wise purchasing from I. In my childhood, I would often accompany her to the market. She had a particular habit of not buying anything in a hurry or randomly. She would first make a round of the market and casually ask the prices. She would make an assessment of price and quality of the commodities and then make her purchases through bargaining in another round. This way, she always ensured to buy quality commodities at reasonable prices. When I entered the business field, I adopted the same technique which helped me in supplying pure, clean, and authentic food products to my customers. It was I who, from my school days, encouraged my interest in business. We were living in Mumbai and I was a student. There were many tamarind trees and ber, Indian jujube trees, in our MES campus. I would easily climb the tree and bring home luscious green tamarinds and ripe bers. One day, the idea of selling the extra tamarinds clicked in my mind, and I did my first exercise of salesmanship. I supported this activity for some time, but one day she abruptly asked me to stop. She said that the exercise was enough to learn the value of hard work and henceforth I should concentrate on my studies. She cautioned me not to be influenced by the gleam of easy money, a value that I still follow. I had to discontinue her school education halfway due to poverty, but later she acquired a lot of wisdom from the open school of life. Her thoughts were visionary and valuable. I remember that after my marriage, she kept insisting to me to purchase separate accommodation on my name. When I asked the reason, she explained, "Son, there are 3 reasons why a person should build his own property in an early age. First, it boosts the confidence of a person, provides him permanent secured shelter, and creates the pride and pleasure of ownership in him. Second, it is the best investment as one can earn a steady income of rent by leasing it or can start his own business from there. Third, ancestral property is in fact a gift or favor from the elders to their heirs, which is not considered as a true achievement of the person. I expect my sons to be self-reliant and not dependent on anyone, even their parents. My mother not only advised me, but gave 500,000 rupees from her own savings as an initial investment. I took a bank loan and purchased a flat in Thane near Mumbai. I's words came so true that within a couple of years, the prices of homes escalated more and my flat became worth thrice of its original price. I then sold it and bought a new spacious flat in a prime suburb of Mumbai. I, apart from being an affectionate mother, was also a friend, philosopher, and guide to me. I had the habit of sharing everything with her as she was compassionate and understanding. My father was strict, disciplined, and hot-tempered. Hence, I would prefer to approach my mother first in any matter. She loved me a lot and helped me at every crucial juncture of my life. One day I asked her what her expectations were from me, and she smilingly replied, "Son, parents don't expect anything from their children. They just hope the next generation will follow the right path and continue their parents' legacy." When I passed away, I was beside her. I was crying and telling her to recover from her illness. She asked me to put her head on my lap and murmured, "My son, you have made us proud throughout life and fulfilled our expectations. Carry on our legacy and continue your journey with honesty, and you will never lack anything. This is my blessing. I pray that our family deity will always be with you." With these words, she took her last breath. After the cremation, we went to the beach to immerse her ashes into the water. I was remembering her intensely. I folded my hands looking at the sky and prayed, I will follow your example and take care of Baba and our family. Bless me always." When I finished my prayer and looked down, I noticed a surprising thing. A garland of fresh flowers floating on the waves had wound around my feet. I wondered, if there was nobody near us, where had the garland come from? Perhaps those flowers were blessings from another world. My eyes filled with tears. Friends, a mother's love is the purest of all and unmatched in its strength. Those who experience it for a long time are fortunate, and I am one of them. I would like to quote a few lines from a famous poem by Patorelli. God made a wonderful mother, a mother who never grows old. He made her smile of the sunshine, and he molded her heart of pure gold.